All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into something we've all felt. Why our best plans seem to go completely off the rails, taking way longer than we ever thought, and piling on a ton of stress.
You know, this quote just hits the nail on the head. We've all been there, right? Staring at some project that's just spiraling out of control and wondering, where did I go wrong? The problem, it turns out, isn't that our goals are too big. It's that our timelines are a fantasy. So this leads us right into what's known as the optimism trap. And it's a scene that plays out in pretty much every workplace. Picture this. You get a new project, something you've never really tackled before, and then your boss or your client asks that one question you're dreading. And what do? Instantly, almost without thinking, we just throw out a number. Probably 2 days. Yeah, just a couple of meetings to sort it out. A few hours tops. And we say it with so much confidence because we genuinely believe it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Reality always has other plans. What starts out looking like a simple, straightforward task just gets complicated. Unexpected problems crop up. Priorities suddenly shift. People need things from you. And all of a sudden, that super optimistic 2-day estimate just feels ridiculous as the deadline blows right past you.
So how does that happen? How does a simple 2-day project just balloon into a 2-week nightmare? Let's actually break it down. Let's look at the anatomy of a delay to see exactly how it all unfolds.
And this is where you see that huge, gaping chasm between our plans and what actually happens. In our heads, it's a clean, simple task, but in the real world, it's messy, it's chaotic, and it takes so much longer. That 2-day project, it easily becomes 2 weeks of revisions and sometimes a full-blown crisis.
It's because when something is brand new to us, our brains just naturally oversimplify it. We don't have any past failures on this specific thing to warn us, so we just ignore all the stuff that causes delays. We gloss over the crucial details, we forget about the constant pings and interruptions, we fail to plan for all the back-and-forth revisions, and maybe the biggest one, we act like this is the only thing on our plate.
Okay, so here's the key thing to get. It's understanding why our brains are wired to do this. This isn't some personal flaw you have. It's a feature of human psychology. It's literally just how we're built.
So let's really get into the psychology of it. Why do we keep falling for this trap over and over again? What makes us so bad at estimating something we've never done before? Well, the answer comes down to a few predictable mental shortcuts.
It really boils down to 4 psychological traps. First, we're just naturally optimistic creatures. We want things to go well and be done quickly. Second, there's a perception failure. We only focus on the parts of the project we actually understand, ignoring the unknowns. Third, there's social pressure. Nobody wants to be the person who sounds slow or pessimistic. And finally, we get tunnel vision. We're so focused on that finish line, we completely miss all the messy, complicated steps in between.
And on top of all that, we forget some really basic truths about work. Like when you're doing something for the first time, you are learning. And learning, by definition, takes time. And as soon as other people get involved, for approvals, for feedback, for anything, they bring their own schedules and complexity to the table. And of course, when you're juggling multiple things at once, your focus is just diluted, making everything take longer.
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on the what and the why. Now let's talk about the how. How do we actually fix this? The good news is there are some brilliantly simple strategies you can use to escape the optimism trap and start making estimates that actually stick. This whole framework is about building realism into your planning. You break the project down, you account for other people, you assume you're going to be interrupted, and you challenge your own assumptions. And this isn't about being a pessimist, by the way. It's about being a strategic realist. Let's really zero in on the 2 most powerful rules here. Okay, now this is probably the single most powerful rule of thumb you can use. If you are tackling a task for the very, very first time, the formula couldn't be simpler. Take your best, most honest guess for how long it'll take, and then double it. That's it. It might feel totally wrong and inflated when you say it, but you'll be amazed how often it turns out to be spot on.
And for everything else, you just have to remember this. Nobody works in a bubble. Distractions, interruptions, they're not the exception to your day, they are your day. So you have to build in a buffer. Just add about 20% to your total estimate to account for, well, for life.
and for work just happening.
So what's the big payoff here? What's the real advantage of thinking this way? It goes way beyond just having better timelines. You're actually changing your entire experience of work. You're trading that constant low-grade stress for a sense of control and sustainable success.
So let's boil it all down. What are the big takeaways you need to remember? First, a new task will always take longer than you think, period. Second, start treating unforeseen problems as the norm, not some rare thing that happens. And finally, remember this. Your skill at estimating isn't about hope, it's about your ability to see problems before they happen.
I want to leave you with this one final image. Just think about this quote. Time really is like ice. You start your day with this solid block of it, but between meetings, distractions, and unexpected detours, it just melts away. And it always melts faster than you think it will.
So I'll leave you with a question, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Think about your last few projects. Were your estimates more optimistic, or were they realistic? And now that you know about the optimism trap, what is the one thing you can change in your very next estimate? Thanks for watching.